I'm going to talk to you about browser APIs. First, I'd like to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Rowdy. I'm a freelance web and app developer. I do CSS, JavaScript, HTML, PHP, Node.js, whatever. I work for Nationale-Nederlanden. I'm a lead developer there for their pension app. And we do that with NativeScript, for which I'm a developer expert. And if you want to know more about creating native apps with web technologies, come see me tomorrow at 11:45 in room A103. You can find me on Twitter at Rowdy Rabouw, Rowdy Rabouw. As you might guess, I like superhero movies a lot. And if you're on Twitter, make sure you are ready for a demo later on using browser APIs to send messages to. I mentioned I like superhero movies. Fortunately, this one was never made. This is Nicolas Cage trying out for Superman. He did do superhero movies later on. Ghost Rider, fortunately, his face was in flames most of the time, so that was a fine movie then. All right, enough chit-chat. Let's look at the first browser API I want to show you. I have tried to make a correlation between characters in movies and browser API. So in this case, we have Professor X, who can detect humans, mutants. So what about the Geolocation API? The Geolocation API is available in all browsers. In every slide or in every API, there's a supported browsers on the right-hand side. But make sure this only works if your website is running on HTTPS, which every website should nowadays. And how can you use it? If you call navigator.geolocation get current position, you get a promise back with the current position. And from that position, you can extract the latitude, longitude, the accuracy, and also the altitude. But you can do more than that. You can watch your position. So you can make your own, oh, it falls over a little bit, I see. You can make your own tracking. So in this case, I've said the target is that latitude and longitude. This is my home address, so if you want to visit me, go there. And every time the position changes, the success function is called, and we can calculate, or rather compare if the latitude and longitude are the same. So you have reached your destination. Now let's see if this works. Let's see if we can get our current location. And this is one of the things. You can only access someone's location if they explicitly say that it's okay to use. So you always get this pop-up. So I say, let's do this. Now I'm on a laptop. That takes a little longer. If you have a mobile phone, it will be more instantly. But you can see this is our current location. And it has a deviation of about 61 meters. And the altitude is 0. So yeah, we're actually below sea level, so it could be minus. But this is not that interesting. You have these locations. So what if we could plot it on a map? And it's quite easy to do. You define an, in this case, a div with an ID. You load the Google APIs, map APIs. You have to get an API key for that. And then you can determine your current position. And in this case, I said, well, let's create a map on our current position. Use the map type satellite, so we get a nice overview, and zoom 17, so it's not that wide. But then you only have centered your current position in a map, but you do want to know where you are exactly, so you put a marker there. Unfortunately, the resolution of the beamer is quite low, so you're missing a little bit of code down there. But essentially says create a marker on the current position and attaches to this map. You get something like this. Is this quite accurate? Yeah, I think so. All right, so you probably have seen this already many times on websites, but a lot of websites implement it wrong because the first thing they do if you enter the website, can I have your location? And you don't want that. So make sure it's only triggered when you hit a button or something like that. So moving on to 4. Hammer wielding god of thunder and lightning. So API, yeah, the battery. That's way less supported. It's on Chrome, Opera, Chrome on Android, and Samsung Internet. You can get the battery charge level, the expected time of charging or discharging, and it also exposes events so you can act on it. So what you can do is maybe turn off or turn on inefficient operations according to those power levels. So maybe don't show that fancy battery consuming animation, just show an image, for instance. So what you do is, because it's not supported everywhere, you have to check whether it's supported. So make sure you have an if statement to see if get battery is available. You then call it, get a promise back with the battery, and you can get the charging, the charge, if it's charging or not, the charging time or the discharge time or the level. And as I said, you can hook into events. So if, for instance, the level changes, you can act on that. This is an example now. Currently, my battery is at 48%, and its discharging will take 7,000 seconds. Well, let's plug it in. Now, discharging time infinity, because it's charging. And if we leave it on enough, it will say, well, the battery level is changed to 49, for instance. But we have a lot of APIs to watch, so you can try this for yourself on browserapis.nl. All right, next one. Vintage Captain America. As they say, he's not only a handsome, strong dude, he has enhanced intelligence and perfect memory. So the API, device memory API. It will provide information about your device memory. Also, not that well supported. Most of the things that are not well supported are because it was created, for instance, for Chrome OS or other things for Firefox OS. So what does it do? It returns the amount of device memory in gigabytes. Unfortunately, not the available memory, but the total amount that it's available in your device. And with a maximum of 8 gigabytes. So, is it useful? I don't know. Probably not. Again, the if statement to check whether it's available or not. And you can get it. And yeah, I added is at least, because this is 16 gigabytes. But as I said, it only goes to 8. So this device has 8 megabytes or 8 gigabytes. It could be that I only have 200 megabytes available because I have tons of Chrome tabs there, but you never know. I'm not saying they're all useful, I'm just saying they're there. This woman, watch out for her. The black canary, she has the canary cry, so it makes a lot of noise and can severely damage you. The web audio API can also do that. It's very good supported, only our old poor brother Internet Explorer not. Who is using that? Probably enterprises. And what you can do is, we can do this since 2011. Play an audio file from your website. The code above says how you do it, and it will then generate a native player. This one is in Chrome, I see they've changed something with the look and feel because it looks different than a few days ago. And then I thought, well, what file should I use? I'm in Amsterdam, a PHP conference. Does anyone know Jeroen Vlamman? No? All right, he's a PHP developer, but back in the days,
You'll get the shock of your life.
he made house music, and he still does. He's the man behind, oh my God. Music like this, but also, and I don't remember the band. That's the Nerves, I think. I'll get back to you later because it's still awesome music. He works as a PHP developer during the weekdays and still goes to gigs at the weekends. All right, something different than creating audio. Not playing audio, creating audio. What you have to do is initialize a new audio context, then an oscillator to generate that tone. And then you can set a frequency on which frequency it should run. The lower, the higher. And an oscillator type, there are 4 different types. I chose the sawtooth just because, or there are 5 different types, so I chose the sawtooth just for demonstrating this. And then you have to connect everything together. After that, you'll start it, and it has its own clock because the normal JavaScript clock is not that reliable. But don't forget to stop it also. So in this way, you will stop after 2 seconds. This is everything put together. So brace your ears. Let's have a low tone. That's a steamboat, right? All right, brace yourself even more. A high note. Yeah, I see some people flinching. Cool. Let's try a super high note. No one is an X-Man or a bat or a dog. No, okay, because he couldn't hear this. This is 40 kilohertz. I assume it played 40 kilohertz. I don't know, I can check that because I can hear it either. Because the maximum we can hear ourselves is 20 kilohertz, so. All right, you can do other stuff too. You can record audio, for instance. Again, create an audio context and then get access to the microphone using get user media. And that will return a stream you can do stuff with. The use stream in this case will create, again, a media stream audio source, node, as it nicely called. And what I did is I created an audio meter, so you can see the level of my, say, voice, the sound that I make. Another code to do stuff, to connect everything together, and especially the volume audio process, do some magic calculations. I didn't do that myself because I'm not that smart, but someone did for me. And again, if you want to use this, you get a dialog asking you permission to use the microphone in this case, because we're not all Facebook, right? Listening into all your conversations. So if I say accept, then it will show the audio bar. You can also, if you want to record, for instance, and play back your voice. Is this useful? It's fun. Is this useful? No, it's also fun. There's someone made a project on CodePen called 8-bit game music. Greg and his article is Recreating Legendary 8-bit Games Music with Web Audio API. It's a link, so if you go to the website, you can see everything he did, how he made it. I'm just stealing his glory. He also included a movie with it, and if you play it, it starts over and over and it doesn't align, but it's the idea that counts, right? Just making that music again brings back some childhood memories for me. All right, let's see. Next one. Our friend the Hulk. Yeah, in his, say, normal stage, he's not that heavy. But when he's the Hulk, he's about 635 kilograms. You can really shake the ground. So, yeah, vibration API. Again, not so well supported because probably Chrome OS and Firefox OS who wanted it to have it on a mobile device. It's fairly easy to use. Again, check whether it's available or not. And if you just give a value, it will vibrate once, in this case 200 milliseconds. If you put in an array, it will go off, on and off. So 100 milliseconds, vibrate, 200 milliseconds, nothing, 300 again, 200, nothing, 500 again. I have a problem demonstrating this because my laptop won't vibrate. And I could hand you around my phone, but I trust you people, but maybe someone likes my old iPhone 6, so I recorded a video in a hotel room. Nothing explicit, just how it will work. Again, useful, maybe to alert users on mobile devices for certain actions, maybe an alert message saying, well, you haven't completed our complete form of 200 input fields, something like that. The Invisible Woman from the Fantastic Four. What are her powers? Now, one of this being invisible. So, of course, you know which browser API I'm referring to, right? Yeah, thank you. Page Visibility API. That's supported even in our old friend. And is it useful? Yeah, I think it is. But first, let me show you what you can do. You can ask whether it's hidden or not. Wow. And you can also check whether in which state it is. Maybe the page is pre-rendering or it's just being unloaded, so you can hook into that. But the most important thing is that you can act on changes. So in this case, the visibility change. And I have an example for that. I'm playing a video from the Fantastic Four movie in 2004, I think. And it says the initial page visibility is visible. So let's play this one.
Now back off.
Susan, let's not fight.
No, let's.
Susan, fire!
Cool.
Marco. Polo.
Wait, Marco Polo. She's not Marco Polo, right? It's probably a game or something like that, so I can look this up. And what is Marco Polo? The player who is it shouts Marco, and all the other players must respond shouting Polo. Okay, they're playing it wrong, because he's shouting Marco and Polo, but did you also notice what happened? The video paused. So if I go back, it will continue where it was. And you can see it went from hidden to visible again.
Did you say goodbye to your brother Johnny?
Bye, Johnny.
Now back off.
So no more annoying videos in the background playing, for instance, or music. You can stop that. be kind to your visitors of your website. The Flash. He's fast, right? Well, what's sometimes not that fast is your internet connection, or maybe you're even offline. It's again very well supported, so we can check whether or not a user is connected to the network. Not necessarily connected to the internet, unfortunately. So if you're on a Wi-Fi network like here, which is working fine, it doesn't have to mean that it's also connected to the internet. So, is it useful? Well, maybe. You can act on seeing that things change. So you ask whether it's online or not, but you can also see whether it's going online or offline. So if you have to, again, enter that form field with 200 input fields, you might want to warn your user that you're detecting there's not a network connection, because they don't like you probably to have to fill them again. So in this case, I'm online. I'm connected to the Wi-Fi here. And I'm offline. And hopefully I can get back online again. Yes. Okay, that's offline, online, but you also have something called network information. And you can get whether they're on, for instance, slow through 2G or 3G or 4G. And you can also act on that when that situation changes. It doesn't say that much, but it's something. It says I'm not in 4G, but I'm on Wi-Fi, right? But the maximum is 4G. So let's change that to, say, slow, what's called in Chrome slow 3G, which is 2G. Or maybe I'm on fast 3G, and it's 3G. And the normal one, Wi-Fi goes back to 4G. There is something else that's called connection.type, which gives you Bluetooth, cellular, Ethernet, mixed Wi-Fi, or even WiMAX. I don't know if you know what WiMAX is, but that's most of the time used for security cameras on large festivals, for instance. Very reliable, very fast Wi-Fi. But unfortunately, it's only supported on mobile by Chrome and Samsung Internet. So it's not, you have to use combination of things like this to be able to make something out of it. All right, next one. Groot. Well, he's resilient and power of regeneration, but also he's good with words, right?
I'm Groot.
All right, this is his whole vocabulary. So we get to the speech synthesis API. It enables you to have text-to-speech and modify which voice you want, the specific language, the rate, and the pitch. So you can do fun stuff with this. It's widely supported, only not on IE. So what do you have to do? And these are the words that always break my tongue. So you get a window.speech synthesis, and then you get voices from that synthesis. And the utter this, it's the speech synthesis utterance. If you're drunk, try to pronounce that 5 times correctly. But what you do there is that you say, well, this is the text I want to be spoken. Then you select a voice. In this case, for Groot, I chose the Google UK English Mail. That's only available if you're online and if you're in a Chrome browser, because those are extra Google voices. And I set the pitch at 0.4 and the rate at 0.6. So slowed it down a bit and make this voice lower. And then finally say, well, speak. So you can do fun things with that. Since we're in the Netherlands and I'm Dutch, I can say
Hallo Amsterdam.
in Dutch. But if we take Fiona, for instance, from, I think she's British.
Hello Amsterdam.
Oh, she's very happy. But also, as I mentioned, you can see here below all the Google voices are available. So take the UK English female, for instance.
Hello, Amsterdam.
Ooh. But what if she's doing this tomorrow after game night or something?
Hello, Amsterdam.
That's more the feeling you have on the second day, probably on a conference. So you can mess around with this, get funny results, but there are a lot of languages available. All right. Text-to-speech we just had. Let's go to something that's similar. Let's go to Wolverine. Well, he does a lot of things, he's strong and whatever, but his hearing is also superb. So, the speech recognition API. Support is meh, but what you can do is you can convert speech to text. You initialize speech recognition, and you can choose whether it should listen continuously to you and whether it should return interim results, or just wait until you stop talking or press saying, I'm finished. Important to do is set the language it's listening to. And of course you can start and stop, and you can listen to the result. And I have this example. So this one is listening to British English. So if I'm going to say record. Hello Amsterdam. Well, he recognizes, right? If I change this to, no, if I do this in Dutch, Goedemorgen Amsterdam. Anyone know Dan? I don't, but. So go to Dutch, that's on Nederlands. Goedemorgen Amsterdam. Okay. There you go, then it's correct. And again, quite a few languages that are supported, but keep in mind you have to be online to do this because I'm using Chrome here. Everything I'm saying is pushed up to the servers of Chrome and then interpreted there and sent back as text. So be careful what you're saying. All right. Plenty of enough time for the demo. Doctor Strange is a sorcerer, is powerful. His full range of abilities is unknown. So is of the Web Bluetooth API. It feels like kind of magic also for me. What you can do is interact with Bluetooth devices, simple. And some code how to show you how it works. You connect, and also again, support meh. So what you do is you request access to a device. And make sure that if you know what device you want to access to, filter on that device. I've seen a friend of mine doing a conference talk about Web Bluetooth with a heart rate monitor with about 200 people in the room, and it showed all the mobile of the device, so all your phones, and Chrome just crashed. So I made sure I'm only listening to this device. After that, if you have permission to use that device, you have to connect to it. And you connect to something called a server. You connect to a service, and when you're connected to the service, you have to get a particular thing of that service. All those bytecodes and hacks and whatever, you have to find out. It's not that obvious, but if you know the right ones, it will work. And finally, in this case, I get the characteristic back, and I can hook it up to the variable I've used on top. So the next thing you want to do is to send a command to that thing, right? If you connect it, that's it, but you want to send a command. In this case, for the device I'm using, I have to use this code to send actual bytes to make sure it does something. So what device do I have? It's my little friend. And I'm going to need your help also here. This is a Rowdy Rabouw robot. And you can do a lot of fun with it. If I want to connect to it, hopefully it will find it. Yes, I can connect to it. His belly is green, that means he's connected. And also get a feedback on that. And what I can do is, for instance, make him make sounds. But more importantly, you can make him move. And I'm taking a risk here to do it on the table. But I can say, well, turn around, the other way, go front. He's tired. He needs some motivation sometimes. Yeah, there it is. I'm going to stay with him because I'm now enabling Twitter. And if you want to control him, send a message to browser APIs. You can send forward, backward, left, right, or sound. If you're really lazy, you can just send F, B, L, R, or S. And let's see if that works. And I'm going to be over there to catch him. Oh, bastards. I will put him here. That's more safe. Someone's trying the sound. Cool. Come on, guy. Yeah. Have fun with it. I can still control him also. Forward faster. Fast is not his pace. So there are many more Bluetooth devices you can use. You can use light bulbs. As I said, heart rate monitors, little LED boxes. I have those also at home. I like to play around with them, but I thought this is a nice one to bring here. Yes, he agrees. And I will leave it on. Oh, no. There's your, because I switched pages, so the connection is invalid now. It's probably blue. Yep. Sorry, guy. Just put you back here. All right. Few minutes to spare, few minutes to lunch. Just want to wrap up with Wonder Woman. Not showing anything in particular because she has a lot of abilities and there are a lot of more browser APIs available. Like the notification API. You really like that one, right? With all the messages on the top of your browser saying, can I send you messages? No. For progressive web apps, home screen installation, and service workers. Media capture API. I showed you a little bit about getting audio in your browser to be captured. You can also use video, for instance, and record video. And also, if you want to use video, the user has to consent with it, fortunately. Things like screen orientation and device orientation. Network information, I think I included that one. And web USB. So what you can do with Bluetooth, you can also do with connected USB devices. Haven't tried it out. A little bit scary also, I think. And with that, I want to say thank you. And you can go to browserapis.nl to check it all out. And there's a GitHub repo with all the content there for you to see and maybe even improve for me. So thank you.